Hello, everyone. My name is Caleb.
Hi, Caleb.
Hi.
And I'm Michaela.
We've been wanting to make this video for a long time and pretty much discussing our testimony and kind of my testimony and how God brought us back together. So the short story is we were together in high school, broke up, and then a few years later we are back together, and now we are engaged and we're getting married this summer, June 25th.
Yeah.
So where do I start? So 2013, the first time I ever saw her was in my Spanish class.
It was technically my Spanish class.
Her Spanish class. I actually moved into that class second semester. So one of the things that caught my attention was, first of all, I was in band and she was in color guard. And so I just remember one time, I was in the classroom and I had other classmates that were in band. And so I remember they were talking about like our marching show that we had just done that season. And I remember she was talking about it and she was like, yeah, we had a good show. Like talking about if she was part of it. And keep in mind, I didn't know she was part of color guard. I never saw her during that time until Spanish class. So I was like, she's in a band, but so that's how I found out she was in color guard, and she actually was, kind of part of the band experience. And so ever since then, I just kind of she kind of caught my attention. One of the things was she was like taller than most girls, and so that caught my attention. And so, what else could I say? She was
Just because I'm tall?
well, first impressions are everything.
I'm just kidding.
One of the other things that really pushed me into being drawn towards her was that I found out that she was a Christian, and of course I was also a Christian, and so our faith pretty much was the same, and I was like, boom, perfect match. Shortly after that, I had like a little crush on her. It was a small little crush because it was small. I didn't really talk to her.
No.
I really did not talk to her in that class. Maybe twice?
Yeah, we hardly talked.
Yeah, we hardly talked. Fast forwarding a little bit to the summer after freshman year. I had just got out of church, and I guess you just got out of church too with her church. And then I went to Wingstop with some friends.
And I went to Wingstop with some friends.
And she went to Wingstop with some friends. Yeah, I was walking out and she was coming in, and I was like, ooh, I know her. She's cute, and I know her.
What did we say? We did talk.
Yeah, we talked briefly. We just kind of making,
hey,
making small awkward talk, cute talk. And so, but 15 or 16
We
or
were 15.
Yeah, we were 15. Me, going like, oh, that was cute. Like, I saw her. Yeah. So I was like, I was pretty happy I saw her at 15. Yeah, I was pretty stoked. Let's go ahead and fast forward. So we're in sophomore year, and this is the year I asked her to homecoming. So after that, I asked her to homecoming.
In front of the whole school.
At a pep rally. It was pretty dope.
Cute.
It's pretty cute. Yeah, since I was in band, I was in percussion, so I used the drumline. Pretty much used the drumline crew to lift up the drums, and then the bottom of everybody's drums was like
Homecoming ?
And her name, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so from then we went to homecoming, and we were just basically talking. So at that point we already knew that
we're pretty much exclusive but not exclusive.
Yeah,
we're exclusive because
you knew
I
that
ain't talking to nobody.
You knew that I liked you.
Yeah.
And then I think I knew you liked me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were pretty much on the same page. We just weren't like boyfriend and girlfriend, official.
Yeah, because I wasn't allowed to date until I was 16.
Yeah. So So yeah, so she pretty much turned 16, and I waited a couple days, right?
Yeah, it was
A week?
days. No, it was 4 days.
Oh, I waited 4 days, and then I was like,
Will you be my girlfriend?
yeah. So that's pretty much when we were
It's a
official.
done deal.
Done deal. Boom, bam. Thank you, ma'am. And so we're together, and happy, you know, young kids in love, and we were together, you know, in the high school time for 2.5 years, and so I mean, and it was good. It was happy, you know. We were young and we were still growing, and this is where it's gonna take a turn. Yeah. So year. And like I mentioned, you know, I was a Christian and she was a Christian, but keep in mind, you know, I've been saved since I was about 13, and so yes, I was saved and yes, I was a Christian, but my foundation, you know, at where I was not strong at all. You know, I never, you know, really put in the work to get closer and deeper into, you know, God's word and to the truth that He has. And so, therefore, you know, I was more, you know, prone to being led by like the world. That's when I was introduced to weed, and so, you know, that's, you know, it's hard to say, but that's what I did. You know, those were my actions.
I found out.
She found out.
Not happy.
She was not happy. I wasn't happy. I was kind of mad at myself, right? But, you know, my mind was still like, it was just like, you know, it was messed up. I still, like, I guess at the time, I didn't care, you know? As harsh as it sounds, like, I didn't care, and I wanted to do it. And so
after that, it was kind of all downhill.
Yeah, so after that, it was just kind of like
very shaky.
It was very shaky. And so, you know,
I guess because at that point I had always said stuff like that was a deal breaker for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I found out, I was like, oh snap, like I have to decide if this is a deal breaker or not.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't talk for a couple days.
Yeah.
We didn't talk for a couple days. I was like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I was so mad. Mm-hmm. And then somehow we ended up
somehow we still stayed together
for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
All through high school, graduation.
Shortly after graduation,
2016,
I was on vacation, but visiting family.
And I was on vacation too.
She was on vacation as well, yeah. And during that time, I kind of knew that, you know, things weren't, you know, the strongest between us. And so, you know, I knew when both of us got back from vacation, I was gonna call it off. You know, I was led astray. I you know, took a detour in my walk with God, and, you know, I started following the world. And so that's why one of the reasons why I ended it. And, you know, I didn't really give her a clear answer. You know, I didn't give her a clear answer, but I think it's only because I was just scared to say it. You know, I wanted to go do different things because I still wanted to go try weed, and I wanted to go drink. Even when I you know, broke up with you, you know, it was hard on me. It was hard on me, and it was hard on her, and like, it was just rough. It was rough. And so during the time we were apart, I, you know, was in the world, you could say. You know, there was no room for God whatsoever, and that was my mind. That's where I was, and that's where I chose to be. So during that time, she still was in my heart, and she was still in my mind. And so even though I was still doing what I was doing, she still was in there, and someone special to me. And so So we saw each other a couple times during the breakup. Kind of. We saw each other, but we really didn't.
There wasn't much communication.
Yeah, there was no communication at all. And yeah.
I mean, there was like here and there, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
And then you randomly would start messaging me.
Yeah.
On Snapchat.
Yeah, I don't know what I would message her, but dumb things. Like, you know,
he was trying to make small talk. And
trying to make small
not
talk.
Here for it.
Yeah, she wasn't here for it.
No.
But for good reason.
You can't be friends with someone you love.
Yeah, I mean that's true because like I could never ever see myself just being a friend with you, you know. So like she made it very clear like you have to like.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah, she made it very clear like you have to like just don't talk to me.
I was like, what do you want? At that point, I was mad. I was like, what do you want? Like, don't talk to me unless you care about me or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, stop.
Yeah. So after that, like I didn't.
We didn't talk for.
We didn't talk.
Zero zilch. It was at least a year.
Yeah, at least a year.
Oh.
You know, she did her thing, and I was still doing my thing, and you know, eventually, I was with a friend, and he wanted to go. He wanted to go to Dave and Buster's, and so that is the place where
I work.
She works at, and I knew that, and so like he invited me, and I was like, ooh, like I know she works there. Okay, so yeah, my friend messaged her, "Are you working?"
And I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Okay, I won't come or whatever," and then he's like, "Hey, Caleb's gonna come," and I was like.
I'm nervous because like I don't know how I'm gonna be.
Talked, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like
I had been mad at him.
I was like, is she gonna be our server or you ended up being our server? We just kind of like we just acknowledged. Yeah, in the beginning, like we acknowledged each other, and then eventually.
Josh went to go play games.
Yeah, he went to go into the game area,
and we were talking, catching up.
Yeah, at that point we were just kind of like catching up, like what's been going on. And so we talked for a little while, and then it was time for me to go. So I remember I gave you a hug.
I don't remember.
I gave her a little side hug.
Trash.
I remember leaving, and that was like kind of like not the beginning, but I knew after leaving that night I was with Josh, and something was in me, and I was like, man, like. Kind of wish I was with her, but like I can't, not right now. And like right now is not a good time. And so that was the seed of the beginning of God bringing us back together. That was the seed, because like I said, that night I was like I had a real stir in my heart. I was like, man, like I really wish we were somewhere, but I know we weren't. And I knew that I was not going to jump back into her life like from that night. It wasn't going to happen like that. So
I wanted it to.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean I slept on it.
But it didn't.
And I didn't give it too much thought after that. Mid 2018, this is where things start to shift. At the time I was kind of like trying to like ignore it, but I knew God was pretty much, he was calling out to me. He was chasing me down, just like he does with, everyone, because he loves his children. And so I know that he loved me, but I was kind of trying to ignore it. And so he was convicting my heart because, I was, like I said, at the time I'm still smoking weed and, drinking, going out, into the club scene, and like, I shouldn't be there. And my spirit knows that I shouldn't be there, and so this is where God starts to convict me, like real bad. Like I never, like this is like, I don't know, it was like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was intense, and I knew there was just one thing that he would get my attention with all the time, all the time, and that was with the number 33. I remember seeing the video like about 33, and I know that Jesus ended his ministry. Jesus died at the age of 33, and so that was just kind of in my head. And so God used that to speak to me. So every time I would see the number 33, it wasn't, I didn't have a feeling like, oh, a coincidence. It was a feeling of conviction, because every time I saw that number, it was like God like speaking to me. That's God speaking right there. Like I would always turn, and I'm telling you, I am not making it up. Like, I want to say like at least 75 to 80% of the time I would look, at a time, it was a number 33. And it wasn't even with just like looking at time. Like, I would be driving and then the license plate number would be 33. I would look off to a sign randomly. Yeah, I see the number 33. I would be looking at my phone.
Maybe like so-and-so posted 33 minutes.
Yeah, 33 minutes ago, 33 likes. And I would see a video and like the first jersey number I would see would be 33. Like, it would just nonstop. And, so that was, God calling out to me. He was really trying to get my attention. And, he did a great job, because I chose, to slowly, start reaching in there and start getting close with God. God is speaking to me. And so that's when I pretty much, I went to go buy a new Bible. And then from there, it was just like, go, Once I opened up that Bible, I couldn't put it down. I would like get up in the morning, read my Bible. Get up the next morning and I would read my Bible. And like, this isn't the time where God was really trying to like talk to me and use me. Fast forward to 2019. I had already spent about half a year, in my head, right in the Bible. And when I reached 2019, I knew a couple things. One, I wanted to be a man of God. And two, I wanted to be, a husband one day. And three, I wanted to be a husband for her. Because, even though we had started in high school, like, I essentially want to finish what I started. I knew that God made me a man. I'm a, growing young man, and I know He wants to make me a man of God, to build His kingdom. And I felt that, and I knew that I wanted to be a husband for my future wife, and I couldn't think of anybody else except her. So I knew that I wanted to be with her, but I still wanted to pursue God first. And I wanted to build my relationship with God first before I build my relationship with her second. Or before I attempt, to go build my relationship with her. So I essentially was, I was talking with God, God, I want to potentially be this woman's husband one day. So I would, ask God, or I would just tell God, like, what are these feelings? I'm feeling this way. I feel like you're telling me this and this is correct. And so I was more than confident that, like, by the end of the year, well, I didn't know by the end of the year, but I knew that eventually,
like, it was coming soon.
It was coming, soon. And so it was not my time, but I told God, I'm gonna listen to you, and I'm gonna know when you tell me when is the right time to jump back into her life. And so in the time of waiting, I just continued to read, continued to grow, and just continue to hear God's voice speak to me. In the middle of 2019, I knew that those feelings that were in me to be in her life again were becoming a lot more stronger. So I knew this is one of God's ways. Well, this was God's way of telling me that it's coming up. It's getting closer. It wasn't time yet. I knew it wasn't time yet. I don't know how to explain it, but all I know is that, I feel like during this season, I was real attentive and sensitive to what God was trying to like speak to me. And so I didn't, I didn't act yet. We still have not talked since the last time, which was Dave and Buster's in the beginning of 2018. And so I just continued to do my own thing and pray and wait. for the perfect time. So fast forward, I'm starting to have dreams. Yeah, I'm starting to have dreams of her, and because I'm I'm thinking of her, and I know God's about to do something. These dreams start to become more reoccurring, and so fast forward even a little bit more, the feeling is still getting stronger. God is telling me soon, not yet, but it's coming. So keep going, just keep doing what you're doing. And so I keep doing what I'm doing. I keep praying. I keep, telling God, I want to be a man of God. I want to make you look great. I want to build a kingdom. I want to be a man for this woman. Make me into a man. Make me into a man of God. Just help me. And I just wanted to listen. So I keep going. These feelings are starting to become real strong. Like it's like right there. It's like right there. Like I can act on it right now, but I knew God was just like, no, not yet. It's almost there, but not yet. And so finally,
November 19th, 2019.
November 19th, right? So we started from the beginning of the year knowing that this is what I wanted to do. Eventually it's going to happen from the beginning of the year to now, November 19th. I woke up that day and I was in a good mood. I was in a real good mood. And I'm at work, I'm doing my thing, I'm just thanking God for this day. I'm having a good day. And out of nowhere, I remember turning into the hallway right from where the alley was. And that's where it clicked. I was like, today is the day. Like, it's here. God told me right then and there, right then and there. All right, you've been wanting to reach out to her, talk to her. Today's the day. And so that was my green light. I just knew, I knew right there. I was like, boom, good to go, So, I knew all that waiting and preparation was going to be worth it, because I knew that I was going to be presenting my new and improved self. She wasn't going to see someone she saw back in high school, someone she saw briefly during the breakup. I knew that she was going to be seeing a completely different young man. And so I was excited for that. And so that night I basically opened up. I was going to DM her through Instagram, and so I opened up the app. And so keep in mind, I'm really nervous still. I'm nervous now. So I opened up the DMs, and I literally spelled hey, and I kept it there. I didn't press send, but I kept it there for literally 2 hours, I think. 2 hours. I was still haven't sent it. I went to go shower. I come back, still haven't sent it. And eventually, boop. She didn't even wait a minute. Not even a minute. She responded back.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
You don't remember?
Weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at work and I was in the manager's office. I was sitting down, my feet hurt, and my phone bings, and I was like, okay, I check it, and I literally was frozen. I was so shook. I was just kind of
yeah, she was thrown off guard.
and I was in the office alone, and I was just looking around I can't tell anybody what is happening.
Yeah.
So I had held on hope for a long time. But I started realizing being sad for so long was not healthy for me. So I slowly got over it. And I had just kind of given up on the opportunity of us getting back together. I had just decided it's not gonna happen. So I lived my life, and at that point in my head, I was 100% over him. We had each other on social media. At some point in there, we added each other back on social media. Mm-hmm. But that was it. Literally had talked to someone a couple days before. I was like, yeah, I have my ex on social media, but we don't talk or anything. We're cool. But we're not friends. But we're cool.
She was shook because she didn't know,
how he was feeling or anything.
Yeah, so many months prior, how
he had a year's worth of preparation, and I had nothing.
Yeah, so she was blindsided, but I knew what I was getting myself into, and so yeah, so I think I was what did it say?
I know this is out of the blue,
Yeah.
and I know it's quite late. And you're like, I was just wondering if there was a quiet place we could talk or get a cup of coffee.
Yeah, because I didn't want to.
He didn't like.
I didn't want to go, to a noisy place because I knew that I wanted to talk to her, to her. So I wanted to be somewhere quiet. So
yeah, we were talking about it, like what would work best for us. I was like, oh, I'm free this day, and then I was like, in my head, I was like, I cannot wait to know. Like my head was racing, and I was like, I can't wait longer to know what he has to say. So I was like, well, I'm off tomorrow. So yeah, we decided on outside of your parents' house,
just outside, front yard. After work, so it was pretty late, but it was quiet, so that's what I wanted. And so
in private.
Yeah, in private. So I see her pulling up, and she gets out the car. And
I pull up. I'm like, what does this man want?
Yeah, she was. She had her guard up.
My walls were up.
They were they were really up. But the more I talked to her, just kind of catching up, I guess. Those walls eventually came down, and then.
And I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, either this guy wants to get back together, or he's calling me here to like. Finally give me closure, I guess, all these years later. I don't know. In my head, I really thought he wanted to get back together, but I didn't want to admit that. But I was
Which I did, So you're right.
Yeah.
She was right.
So we get there, and he's kind of like, he looks kind of excited to see me. And I'm just kind of like, hi. Like, I'm like, this boy hurt me. I need to protect, So we're there, and he starts like, we're catching up a little bit, and then he starts talking about everything that's been happening, all his like changes and stuff. And in my head, I'm just thinking like, and then he starts apologizing. He starts apologizing for anything and everything he ever did wrong the first time around. And I'm just there listening. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why did he just call me over here just to apologize? Like, I did not need the emotional roller coaster that comes with that. Like, in my head, I was like, what does he want?
I was building up to the main event.
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
Yeah. So he was telling me everything he told you. I was like, I told you, don't ever talk to me again unless you care. I was like, so why am I here? I was like, well, why am I here?
Yeah. But what I said was, I don't know if it's crazy or not to you, but, would it be worthwhile if we give us another shot? Something like that. Something along those lines.
It's just like, I remember I started laughing, right?
That's true. She was kind of shook and she was like, laughing.
I was laughing because I was like,
why is she laughing?
Why is she laughing at me? I was just like, it took me a long time to be able to say it. I was like, I'd be lying if I didn't say I wonder the same thing.
Yeah, and I think I had said like start talking again. That's what.
Get to know each other.
Get to know each other again.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And so, we pretty much agreed that we're give us a shot. I mean, that night, emotions were flying high, and so before we left. We hugged, and
well, we were just looking at each other, and we were just like.
I looked at her, and I think I actually asked.
You asked.
Yeah, I asked her.
Which is what he did the first time.
Which I did the first time.
Yeah,
I kissed her back in high school.
Like the first time I ever had my first kiss and everything.
I asked her again, and I told her.
He's like, should I? And I was like, and in my head I was like, do it.
And so I gave her a kiss. I gave her a kiss goodnight, and we hugged, and
then I went home and I cried.
She went home, and I went to bed, and that was the start of us, restarting our relationship. And so we were apart. Now this is the cool part now, and this is where you just like boom, God knows what He's doing. And so we were apart longer than we were together. We
dated for 2 years and 6 months. 2.5 years.
2 years and 6 months.
And we were broken up for 3 years and 3 months.
So 3 years and 3 months. 33 was one of the things that God was, calling me to. Like every time I saw 33, I was hearing God's voice. And so the fact that we were apart for 3 years, 3 months, and now we're back together. Like, you know, that was one of the wow moments.
And the funny thing is, you didn't know that until like when
Yeah.
we got back together. I started like I went and I counted how
Yeah.
long it had been,
Yeah.
and even at that, we didn't realize it either. We realized
Yeah.
it had been 3 years and 3 months, but
Uh-huh.
it was like I think it was like 6 months into us dating again
Yeah.
that I was like, oh my gosh, this is that's 33.
Yeah.
And then I remember I started crying. I was like,
Yeah. I didn't know we were apart for 3 years and 3 months. So one of the things that, you know, from the very beginning, from when back in high school, you know, God knew that, you know, all this trouble was going to happen and that we were going to break up and I was going to be led astray. But, you know, God has, you know, so much mercy, and he called me back to me using the number 33, you know, for convicting my heart, and knowing that we were apart for 3 years and 3 months, you know, until we got back together. Like, God was just in the middle, and, you know, now we're engaged. And so, you know, she's my soon-to-be wife, and I believe that, you know, God has found me a wife. And so, you know, it says, I don't know, it's that Proverbs that, you know, I remember reading, you know, when I was growing in my faith, and it was like, a man who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. And so, knowing that you're gonna be my wife now, you know, this is God telling me that, you know, he's for me and he has favor for me. And so, I mean, that's pretty much our story. And I can't wait to be your husband. And I can't wait for you to be my wife. And so I hope anybody that's watching this, you can, you know, understand what we were trying to say and take, you know, anything from it. You know, hopefully we clear some things up, because I know some people don't even know the whole story.
Yeah, no.
So that's our story. And so the next chapter awaits soon.
Yeah.
We will be married and starting the new chapter in a new season in our lives. So that's our story, and I hope you enjoyed it.